Hello people, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm the GlobeTrotter. If you're new here, nice to meet you. I'll be bringing you along my awesome experiences, my awesome touring experiences in Malaysia. Are you ready? I told you something new was coming, something fresh was coming. I've talked about Italy, I've talked about, of course, yeah, I mentioned this in one of my videos. If you've watched how I missed my graduation, you'd know that I studied in Malaysia. So yeah, I've talked about Italy, I've done how I missed my, and I've spoken like in depth about Italy, but I've really not done anything about Malaysia. So this is sort of new and it's exciting. So yes, now let me tell you the gist. Malaysia is comprised of 13 states and 3 federal territories. I got to visit 8 states and 1 federal territory. Isn't it awesome? Okay, so let me give you the background of Malaysia, okay? It's a nation in the southeastern part of Asia, bordered by Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, and Philippines. It has a population of about 33 million people, which is made up of Malay, Chinese, and India. This was as a result of the migration of people during the ancient time of trade between these countries. Like back then, people used to just carry things like from one border to another border, like doing border by border exchange and all of that. So these things have made some of these people settle in Malaysia. They now just made it theirs. So yeah, that was literally how it happened. Just like here in Europe, some of the countries, like between, like for instance, Italy and Austria, they share borders. So some people actually live in Italy and then they go to work in Austria. Some people live in Austria and they come to work in Italy. Yes, so that happens in Nigeria between Cotonou and Nigeria. We share borders, so some people actually just shuttle, go from here to here, go from here to here. So it's a normal thing, and so as a result of that, people now just get to settle at the end of the day. Like, why do I have to keep coming from this place to this place? Let me just get myself somewhere here to stay and make life easy for me. So yeah, that was literally what happened. Long story short, so the native language in Malaysia is called Malay, and they're very much open to English. Seriously, they are very, very much open to English because of the toll tourism is taking on their country right now. Like, it's one of the countries that the tourism industry is booming like very, very well. Like, it's booming like crazy. So yes, they are very open to English, and it consists of 13 states and 3 federal territories, which includes Perak, Penang, Perlis, Pahang, Kelantan, Selangor, Terrenganu, Melaka, Johor, Kedah, Negeri Sembilan, Sabah, and Sarawak. And then the 3 federal territories are Kuala Lumpur, which is the national capital, Putrajaya, which is the administrative capital, and Labuan, which is the offshore international center. So as a result of the boom of the industry in Malaysia, like I said earlier, and of course the authenticity, they are really, really authentic. There are so many UNESCO World Heritage sites, scattered around around different states in the country. The currency they use is called Malaysian ringgit, and their country code is +601. So in case you get a call, like that, and you don't like, where is this coming from? Who is this? You just know, okay, it's from Malaysia. So yes, like I said, I was able to. They have 13 states and 3 federal territories, and I was able to visit 8 states and 1 federal territory. I tried. Give it to me. Just give it. I know I tried. Give it to me. Okay, so the first one I was able to visit, the first state I was able to visit is called Kuala Lumpur, which is the federal capital and the hub of so many awesome events. Like, you would find unis, you find big shopping malls, you find antiques, and so many event centers, conference centers, and all. Like, I remember even back then, my friend's dad used to be he's a musician. So he used to come for shows, like from time to time. He used to come for like his shows. He had a whole live band, and they used to come for shows from time to time, and it was really booming. Like, I know that it was working out well for him, and we used to go, like, from time to time. We'd go and support him, and all of that, and it was really, really nice. He used to come all the way from Africa, and it was beautiful. That's about that. Also, like, if you didn't know, the nightlife bubbles, like, so much. You'd go and you'd be wondering, don't these people sleep? When I just got to Malaysia, generally, seriously, generally, especially in big cities like that, like, you'd be wondering, don't these people sleep? Like, is there no time for bed and time to wake up or something? Because at night people are awake. In the day, of course, in the day is normal, but at night people are still awake. People are still walking around. Like, what are you doing? You're not going to bed or something, So, yeah, that's how it used to happen then. But then you would also find places like the Twin Towers. I'm sure you've heard of it. If you've not heard of it, go check it out. It's awesome. It's beautiful. And I don't think there's any other Twin Tower like that in the whole world. You could go check for it. Like, if you check it on Google, Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, you'd see it. There is also, like, there's this market we used to go to. It's called Chokit. It was interesting. It was so nice. Like, really, really nice. Yeah, and there was even that was for even African food. There is also Chinatown, where we used to get stuff very, very affordable and all. Yeah, like, seriously, it just had a lot. Just one place has a whole lot in it. Straight up, it's a place to holiday. Any kind of holiday you want, any kind of vacation you want, vacation, honeymoon vacation, all kinds of vacations. It's all of them. You can really find them there, seriously. So it's just worth it. It's worth a visit. The second one, so you don't think I'm just going to sit on talking about here. Second one is Selangor. So this was now the place I lived. So I lived here for 3 years, and so that's why I got to go there. And this was where my school was too. So you'd find so many universities, just like in KL, but even bigger. And the thing is, it's even more populated. Like, as at 2013, they had like 5.79 million population of people. So just imagine how many years has it been from 2013 until 2020, and imagine how many people now, how many more people would have added to the population. So it's so populated. Yeah, but it's interesting. You'd find a lot of things in my must visit. You'd at the end, you'd find where I talked about places to go to and all of that, places I wanted to go to, and then you'd see Selangor and places you could, like, interesting places you could go to. One thing I loved about it was the area where I lived. It was so calm. It was so cool. It was not all rowdy and noisy and everything. So you could just come home and you're just coming to, like, some calm, cool place, not somewhere where everywhere is just going to be noisy and rowdy and all, you get. So I really liked that about where I stayed, and the fact that it was just situated opposite my school. Like, so I just come out from my condominium and I just go straight to school. Also, there were shops around, like, really, really great shops around, and of course, transport systems too, like buses. We used to have buses just at the back of our school, and then the taxis used to just come around and all of that. Even food, like, you could just come out and get yourself some street food. That was tops. Seriously, that was awesome. And yeah, those were basically the things I liked about Selangor. And of course, there are many shopping malls, so many shopping malls, like big, awesome shopping malls, where you find nice brands, H&M, Zara, which other ones? I don't even remember all of them, but all of them anyways, you'd find them, even the makeup stores, the lingerie stores and all of that. You're going to find them in these shopping malls. The third place I went to was Malacca. So the thing, what happened is, when I came, I couldn't go on a field trip with my friends, with my school class group. So as a result of it, I got a replacement, myself and one or two more people who couldn't go as well. So yes, and then we went to Malacca, and we went to a couple of places. So I'm going to be telling you the names of the places, which I'll still put on the screen, in the video. So, which I'll still put on the screen. So yeah, one of them is Red Square. This literally is called Red Square because everything there is just red. Almost everything you see there is just red. Yeah, and this was a picture of us when we were at Red Square. I remember getting a bag from there, because there was like sort of an open market going on at the side. So I remember getting like some native bag from there, and that bag served me for at least at most 2 years. I carried it and carried it and carried it. I wasn't letting go of it until when I know I was done, and then I think I gave it to my sister or something. I don't remember how I went about that. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then the next place still in that red square, we went to Christchurch, which we were told the history and everything about it. Apparently it's the oldest functioning Protestant church in Malaysia, existing since the 18th century. So just imagine, I told you they are very authentic, right? Imagine a building that's been existing since the 18th century. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, then there's THESIS, there's Queen Victoria's fountain. It's just a fountain at the center, like you can see, like you saw in the picture. Yes, then there's Melaka clock tower, which is still at the square. All of these things are just at the square as well. And then we went to Cheng Hunting Temple. It's an old Buddhist place of worship. It's like the oldest even in Malaysia, and it also has the UNESCO award, which it got it. It also has the UNESCO. We also got the UNESCO World Heritage Site award. Yeah, award in 2013. And there was also Afamosa. Went to Jonker Street. Went to Kampong Clay Mosque. There was also Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum, Bukit China, Church of St. Francis Xavier, and that was basically all, like at least all I could remember. Excuse me. So yeah, that was it. And then the fourth one was Penang. This was so memorable to me. You know why I liked it? Because it was the first place I got to work. Like seriously, like I got my first job ever in my life there, and it was nice. Like seriously, it was nice. Our boss then was so good, like that, to the extent that after even paying us each day, because we worked for 3 days, we worked from Friday until Sunday, which of course wasn't easy. And me, because I was groomed in church and everything, my parents weren't so okay with it. So but then I needed the cash and I needed the experiences at that time. So yes, so I did it. So but then I needed the experience and the cash at that time. So yes, I went for the job and it was really good. So my boss was so nice to the extent that he was able to pay us 3 days salary and an advance. Just take this for coming to work for me. I appreciate you and I'm grateful. And then he gave us that, and it was so nice. Like one of our lecturers actually linked us up with the job, and yes, it was really nice. So I could never ever forget Penang because of this great event. Yeah, I'm so grateful for the experience that I was able to get at that period. Yeah, so you'll see this is a picture of myself and the ladies who went for the job, and then this was another picture of myself and my lecturer who linked me up. By this time, this was now in 2014, when I missed my graduation. If you've seen the video, you would understand what I'm talking about. And so this is a picture of us when I missed my graduation. He was like to me, when I was telling him all the plans I have and everything, what I wanted to do with my life and what I've been doing so far, he was so impressed, and he was like, Debbie, you've grown. Like, I can see that you've now grown. You're talking more mature and all. And I was just laughing, and he was like, how old are you now? 20? Or I was like, yes, just around that age. And he was like, okay, because he met me when I was way younger. Like I was, I guess 16 plus or so when I went to school. So I was really, really young, so yeah. So he literally took me as his own daughter, and he was a great lecturer. He was a great lecturer, not just to me, but to every single international student. He took up the international students, like seriously, as though we were his kids. And he did a great job. Anyways, the second place, the second time I went to Penang. I went to Penang again. So yes, the second time I went now, it was now for another replaced trip. So I missed another trip to Indonesia, Bali, and yes, we had to now go to Penang for replacement. And then we went to Georgetown, which is like that's actually where the main UNESCO sites are, like a whole lot of them. So I remember going to Clan Jetties, went to Capitan Keling Mosque, which was the first ever in Penang since the 19th century. Seriously. The Fort Cornwallis, the St. George's Church, Telung Bahang Beach, and then many more. Don't blame me, it's not my language. And also you'd be thrilled to know that this state is like the most tourist visited state in Malaysia. Seriously, you see what I was saying? Like they just have world breaking results. They have lots of world breaking results. So yes, the third one now was Negeri Sembilang, which is Port Dickson here. Oh guys, seriously, this is the funniest of all trips. Like how I went for this trip, you can't even imagine. Like seriously, what happened was I just finished eating. I think I just finished eating, or I went to get something from one of the shops like around our condominium, and I was just walking to my hostel when my roommate just pulled up, and she was like, no, she was in the car, but then she was not the one driving. One of her friends were driving, but the car pulled up, and I saw her and I saw them, and I was like, what's happening? They were like, oh, we're going to Port Dickson, are you game? Would you want to come? And I was like, and I was just like, if you miss this opportunity, are you sure you're going to get another one? That's how I took myself, and I got into that car. Guys, it was so funny because we're not really dressed. When we never planned it, it was so impromptu, but it was fun. I remember we had to like carry each other, like, so someone literally had to had to take me like on his or her thighs. I don't even remember if it was a he or I think it was my roommate's friend. I think my roommate's friend was the one that took me. And then we went and we came back. It was great. Like we went and we danced from the car to the beach. We got to the beach, we were just dancing. And then we had braais and drinks and still danced all the way back. So in case you don't know, braais are barbecue basically. So when you barbecue meat, that's just what a braai is, but it's a South African term, like Southern African, not just like in South Africa, but Southern Africa. So yes, that's that about that. The sixth one, or the next one the next one is called Kuching Sarawak. So Kuching basically means cats, and seriously, there are many cats there. So yeah, after missing, I remember, if you remember, I told you Malacca was as a result of missing the trip. So the place I actually missed the trip to was Sarawak. So after missing my Sarawak trip, I was just like, God, when will I go there? When will I go there? Then finally I met a girl who was studying there, and so yes, I went there in September 2013. I got to go, and then I got to go there. And I spent a whole week. I went everywhere, like literally everywhere with her. I went to church, I went to school. Yeah, I even like met her friends, and it was really nice. We saw movies. So these are the pictures like of the times that we hung out, window shopping, even with her flatmates and everything. Yes, it was really nice, and I had a good time. It was overall a very nice experience. My friend treated me really beautifully, and her friends as well. I remember when I was leaving, her housemate baked me a cake, like a whole cake. Seriously. So yes, it was beautiful. The next one is Johor Bahru. So I went for a field trip, but this was to Singapore, and so we had to transit through Johor Bahru because we had to because we traveled by road, and then we also lodged in Johor Bahru. So yeah, it was nice. I think I only got one day of just going around and getting to see the city and everything. So, but I didn't really get a whole lot of experience, but it was just okay. It was cool. It was not a bad one. At the end of the day, this one, the eighth one, like seriously, I've been waiting to get here. This one was crazy. I had raw fun. Raw fun. Do you know fun that you can feel? That's the kind of fun I had. That's the kind of fun I had on this trip. Like seriously. So where we went to, this one was called Perak. It's another state, one of the states I mentioned. Where we went to was University University Technology Petronas, so it's called UTP. So what happens is my friend calls me up, is like, babe, are you down for a sports trip to so place? I'm like, yes, cool. I mean, it's not like I'm really doing anything. And then I think he spoke to another of our friends, and so we just gathered ourselves up and called a couple of other students, and then we just went for the trip. Honestly speaking, when I packed my bag and I got on that trip, I never knew what was waiting for me on the other side. I never knew I was going to have fun until my whole body, until I was going to be feeling it, like, seriously. So yeah, I just got on the trip, and yes, and the bus, and we're just there. We never had any plans of maybe coming to turn up or have fun or anything. So we're just in the bus like that, and while we were in the bus, I don't know if the radio was playing, and someone was just like, this thing is too boring, can't we just make something out of it? That's how we just connected the phone. Someone just took his phone, connected it. I think it was my friend or maybe one of the guys just took his phone, connected it to the radio, and somehow it was working. We started playing music. That was how we started dancing from that bus, guys. We started dancing from that bus. It was awesome. Like, seriously, we were dancing, falling on the bus. It was just because it was a moving bus. How could you be dancing in a moving bus? But it was so fun. Like, we had a really, really good times. And yeah, after that, then we got off, and I'm gonna be sharing. So these are the pictures, yeah, of some of the some of the events and the things that happened. So we got off the bus, and then we went for the competition, because it was a sports competition, like I said. But the thing that happened was, some of us, like, in the men's department, the men's game, like, actually fainted. So it kind of spoiled our game, so we couldn't really even compete anymore. So yeah, people like me who were supposed to run, like, for the sprinting, yes, we just had to cancel it. But then we got medals. Like, it wasn't so bad after all. We got medals. Like, so these are the pictures from the guys of the men's game, or that went well. So yes, the other one, yeah, and the ninth one is Pahang, where we have Genting. We call it Genting generally, but it's the official name is called Resort World Genting. It's a highland resort located on the Titiwangsa Mountains, northeast of KL. And I went twice because of its awesomeness, like, seriously. So my first visit was with a group. This same friend I told you that called me off of the sports event, and another friend of mine. So it was a boy and two girls. So two girls, including me, and one guy. And the second one was just my friend and I. The same one I went to the same one I went to visit the last time. Yes. So we hung out together. You're going to be seeing the pictures on the screen. Yeah, the first one was just okay, but we didn't go so early, so we didn't really get time to, get on the rides and everything and all of that. But then this next one was great, because we went on so many rides, and the truth is, from just the cable car, when you get there, because it's on the mountain, so you have to get transported through the cable car. So when you get there and you're just going, like, riding through the cable car, you just know that you already know that this is going to be a good day. You already know that this is going to be worth it. So yes, and then you get there, and then you see the big, very huge parts of land covered by things to play and rides and all of that. Like, seriously, you'll be blown away. And yeah, I enjoyed both the first and the second trip, but of course I enjoyed the second trip more, because we had more time to play, like, the first time, and it was just the both of us, so we were able to focus on, okay, let's have fun, like, we're just going to enjoy ourselves. So yeah, we did actually enjoy ourselves. We even, like, okay, there were rides, of course, there were restaurants there, there were like a whole lot. Then there's also a casino, or casinos, not just one. But then I didn't get to play. I really didn't get to play. I just ate, played, ate. That was all I did. And then, yeah, went home. So normally, like, seriously, if you've watched my my first ever video on YouTube, you know that I love theme parks. Like, seriously, my love for theme parks goes to the point where you can actually just leave me in a theme park and go. And I'll be there having fun. I'll just be getting off from one ride to another. From one ride to another, literally. That's what I'll be doing. So yeah, that's what I really enjoyed. Another thing is, I even used this particular place for my thesis, like my final year thesis, when I was still my bachelor's, of course, because of my love for theme parks, because of my love for places like this, seriously. But as at the time when I was using it, the indoor park was the only one open because they were refurbishing and restructuring and all of that. So the outdoor park was closed for restructures. It was just the indoor park that was open, so it wasn't that fun to go. But yeah, but I know it's still good because there were still some cool rides and everything inside. Yes, that's basically it about everywhere. It sums up all my experiences so far, at least the ones I can remember throughout the time I was studying in Malaysia.